appreciate,
Yeah. No, it's fine. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Dr. Fantastic Interviews. I'm proud to be interviewing a veteran, a Army man, soldier, and someone who's working for us, protecting our interests, and he lives in Hawaii. We won't reveal his name. We'll call him Mr. X because he's working with some stuff that can't be disclosed. But Mr. X, I want to thank you for serving our country.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
It is, as you know, I was telling you earlier that I have a charity called Supporting Our Servicemen. And everybody listening, the website's ilovesos.org. And I encourage you, if you have a product or a service, to list your company and give a discount 365 days a year on your product or service. And that increases your business, earns you customer loyalty from the non-veterans, spreads patriotism, and is a great way to thank our veterans.
No, we really appreciate those type of organizations that kind of provide for us because, as you know, like we're gone a lot, so we're away from our families so much. So when we're back, with our families, we try to maximize our time as much as possible. And so when we're back, we like to like there's vet ticks. They give out tickets to veterans for like certain events.
Okay.
And it's really nice because like I can be like, hey honey, like I got these tickets, they're at a discounted price and we can go see a show, a concert, something, and it kind of allows us to like reconnect after being gone for a while.
Sure. Well, there's a lot of organizations and a lot of them are listed on ilovesos.org, and I always applaud them, but I don't want a company listing their product or service as a come-on. In other words, we give everyone 50% off that comes in. This is for veterans.
Right.
I want you to give a discount every single day if you're going to be part of this. Because I used to charge to be listed. Now it's free to everybody.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of money on this, and it's a really valuable resource because we also list, the things that you may not know that exist. Free legal advice and free this and free that. So it's just rewarding for me to do this for you. And there's a great song I wrote on the front page when you get a chance. And I wrote the lyrics, and Peter Beckett donated the music, and somebody else donated the editing, and it's a beautiful music video.
That's awesome.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, but so you're from Hawaii. That's a great place to live.
I'm from California.
But you live in Hawaii.
But yeah, I live in Hawaii currently.
And what are the pluses and minuses about living in Hawaii?
So Hawaii, like it's everybody's like it's a destination for most people, but when you actually live there, it starts to grow on you. I have to travel a lot for work, so I wasn't always in Hawaii, but I think after so many years, I've kind of gotten what Hawaii is about, and it's kind of like, so they call it ohana, and that's family.
Okay. And
it's kind of a community, so everybody kind of takes care of everybody because we're all on the island together. Don't get me wrong, like Hawaii has its downsides as well, but I think the pluses is when you start to realize like the community, and we would meet up for barbecues on the beach, and you go see concerts on the beach or whatever, and or even if you're just sitting out on the beach by yourself and having a coffee in the morning, there's something special about it.
Do the locals get discounts at the market?
So they have a Kama'aina discount. So if you have say you have a Hawaii state ID, like a Hawaii driver's license or something, to kind of like show that you're from Hawaii,
right?
Then you get they have discounts like that. I know there was like some concerts where it's like they will give special discount for Hawaiians, mm-hmm. Or they'll do like a Hawaiian only show.
Okay.
I think Bruno Mars did that or something like that because he's
Hawaiian, yeah.
Right. So I guess they could claim him, and then
they claim him.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's ours.
We want him.
I mean, who wouldn't want Bruno Mars?
Exactly.
Because he's
like
freaking amazing.
Yeah.
He's just so talented. But yeah, so he'll have like an extra show, and he'll be like, okay, this is you have to show like a Hawaii ID to get it, or to buy a ticket.
Now you traveled around the world, and you're still traveling. What's your most exotic place or something? Tell me a story about it.
So I recently just got back from my honeymoon in the Maldives.
Oh, congratulations!
And yeah, it was. Thank you. But it was beautiful. It's always interesting to travel new places and kind of see the culture. I didn't realize how like how the country was kind of put together until I got there, and it's just so many different island chains.
What made you choose the Maldives for the honeymoon?
So my wife, she works in the hotel industry.
Okay.
And she was able to get us a really amazing discount for the room.
Okay.
So that kind of made it possible for us to go.
Yeah.
It was, so Hawaii, it's like the water's beautiful. Out there, it's beautiful. The water is just this turquoise. The fish life, so I would say the reefs haven't been messed with as much, and so you'll get the fish kind of coming up to you, like kind of looking at you, like, wait, is this, what is this in the water?
Not afraid of you?
Yeah, and it's beautiful to see. You have to take a seaplane to get to your like villa out there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but it was amazing. But I've been, being stationed in Hawaii. I go all over the Pacific, and so I'm, bouncing through countries because part of what I do is we help train the foreign militaries. We do like partnering training.
Okay.
So we'll show like the Indonesians, we'll go down there and be like, hey, this is how we, some of our tactics. This is, when we help them train, and it kind of creates that alliance, and it kind of helps keep, America in the game in the Pacific, and it's just a nice thing we do for other countries. We try to like keep those relationships up, and it in the end it makes it safer, for Americans across the world.
Well, it's unfortunately war is profitable.
It absolutely,
and
no
that's
doubt.
The damn shame of it.
And so yes, that is a side piece of what we do. In training these other countries, we bring new equipment, and that new equipment is kind of like, hey, check this out, and then if it does,
it's warfare,
right? And then they're like, hey, we like this, and then we like
1
obviously
mile, continue onto Palisades Beach Road.
Obviously, that is part of it, and we'll sell them that equipment.
Yeah, train them how to use it.
Yeah. Obviously, we're not giving them the best.
Let me ask you a question. I don't talk politics or religion, but if we were just to mind our own business and focus on our country, and the starvation and the homelessness, and it was trillions of dollars are spent on warfare, right?
Yes,
around
absolutely.
the world, and I don't know why we have to be the big brother to save the world per se, right?
Correct.
And
so you're talking like isolationism.
Well, not so much isolationism, just mind your own damn business,
Yeah. So, I will say that from my viewpoint and traveling all over, other countries are moving very quickly to inhabit in a way. Like it's not like conventional troops going in, but they can, certain countries continue to move in and set up shop, if you will, in other countries, and it kind of pushes their agenda. And if we allow that to continue, essentially,
like Hitler did, trying to take over all these other countries, right?
Right. But here's the thing: is at the end of the day, the United States, we're not trying to take over these countries. We're just trying to create that alliance or that ally,
right?
And having that ally creates a safer world for Americans, and for other, there's other countries that move in and they provide money and they'll build infrastructure, but then when that poor country can't pay that back, they essentially will take over that land or whatever infrastructure they built,
right?
And it's a kind of a debt diplomacy, and it creates, when they continue to do that, it makes it harder for freedom of navigation. We want to make sure our ships can go in international waters wherever they want and never have an issue.
It seems like it's the whole world, the whole system kind of works. And if you try to fix anything differently, it breaks other things.
And here's the thing: is it's such a complex problem because every country has their own agenda. They have their own beliefs. They have their own what their priorities are. And those priorities don't always align with ours.
Right.
So we're playing three-dimensional chess with every country. And we're also playing three-dimensional chess within ourselves. You know, so a decision at the military level will go to the State Department level, and that decision might not line up.
Right.
And the executive level, and you know, so there's so much to it, and but I think as long as we continue to put the effort in, and we're around, you know, we're in these countries, and I would rather be there than not be there and see what happens when we're not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I know that you know, some people are like, hey, like, why don't we fix things here? I agree, but where do you draw that line?
Well, I don't know how much money has been spent on building nuclear bombs, right? We have enough to destroy the world 100 times over. So let's just say, in an ideal world, we only spent 50% of that. We would solve the hunger problem, the homeless problem.
Yeah. But
we don't need that many nuclear bombs.
We don't, and you know, the U.S. has kind of taken a step back in some ways. You know, we didn't invest much in it for a while, but now we're kind of like keeping it. We're maintaining it. But I think you have to.
It's called live TV.
Yeah, but I think we still need to maintain our ability to defend ourselves.
Oh yeah, there's no question about that. But 100 times over, I mean, it's just a little ridiculous.
I agree.
I guess it was, you know, the logic is, you know, we have, you know, if anyone pushes the button, then we just know it's mutual annihilation, you know.
Right.
Which doesn't make much sense at all. But either does that guy who crashed and T-boned into that bus a little earlier. That doesn't make any sense. He's such a damn hurry, he didn't get anywhere at that point.
And, you know, who knows? They might not have been paying attention, and that's why they ran through that light. You know, it's just, you know, everybody's so distracted now. We have so many, you know, things going on in cars. You know, there's screens in the cars. You know, you got your phone, you know, so you can see where you're going. You got, you know, you're receiving text messages. You're constantly inundated with all these distractions, and it can kind of.
That's why I believe in autonomous driving. Now, I'm not sure the military, they have the drones now.
So absolutely, because drones are a great thing because it keeps, you know, boots on ground from having, you know, we're instead of risking lives, we're risking a piece of equipment.
Correct.
And I'll do that any day because.
And when you have an autonomous car or truck or plane driving, they're not going to get distracted. They're not going to get drunk or fall asleep or get misfocused.
And I will say that if the majority of vehicles on the road are autonomous, I think you would decrease the amount of accidents.
No question.
They would be able to essentially connect with or talk to each other in a way that they would be like, okay, I'm getting ready to slow down, and that car would, you know, it'd be like that chain reaction. They would all start to slow down.
No, actually, I've interviewed, one of my interviews is a guy who's designing the rules for the sky for flying taxis. Now, in the very near future, you know, the drones that are delivering packages and the taxis and all the other flying vehicles, it'll be like a beehive because they're only going to fly the shortest distance from A to B, right?
Right, but you don't want everybody flying the shortest distance.
No, they're all going to, because they're not going to be driven by humans. It'll be driven by computers, and they won't hit each other because, like you just said, they're going to know where every other vehicle is.
I'm sure it's fathomable that could be a possibility. It's
going to happen.
There's
no question.
I mean, look at the.
But they're not going to be driven by humans. Yeah. Computers are going to know the shortest route, not to hit anything, because it's going to monitor every other vehicle up in the sky, and that's going to happen down here as well. You know, we're evolution, like you say. 100 years we've been pretty much high tech, and we're not even close to high tech yet.
The leaps and bounds in technology. I don't doubt it. And I keep up with this shit. I know quantum physicists. You know, I could send you a text to your phone, and I do that for my the people that buy the EMF reducer or that join as an ambassador. I give them my ambassadors a free EMF reducer. You know what that is? EMF on your phone, right? The electromagnetic frequencies that come out of your phone. A lot of people say they're cancerous, and it's been proven that it's dangerous. And all the phones will. In your phone,
and anyone listening's phone, if you go into legal and you go into about and you go into general, it'll tell you that if you use your phone near your head, it could cause brain damage, and they say that as a disclaimer so you won't sue them.
I
in your phone.
It. You know, I mean, I'm not a.
So I have an EMF. It's called quantum mechanics, and it actually is a hologram that if you put it on as a screensaver on your phone, it eliminates the EMF. And I have devices that register EMF that prove it.
Yeah. That's one of the things I liked about living, because I lived in Colorado for a bit, and you can go to places where your phone doesn't work, you know, out in the woods,
yeah.
You know, go camping with friends, and you could just leave the phone because it doesn't work out there, so you just kind of get away from it all.
Yeah.
And you almost felt like a relaxation from not having to look at it, not having to, like, you could be kind of...
It's almost like we have to have our phone on us as an appendage. You know, you ever watch an old movie? In the old movies, or the period pieces, they never needed a phone.
The way we're connected these days, you know, through different apps, and I mean, we are so connected. I mean, I can get essentially a data phone call from any country.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, we're an instant society now. Instant news. You know, an earthquake instantly affects the stock market.
Yeah.
The computer programs that are monitoring every disaster on the planet, because then it's tied into the computers for stocks.
For instance, the volcano that is it's either erupting or it's getting ready or in the Philippines.
Right.
Well, I immediately got on the phone and texted some friends in the Philippines, like, "Hey, are you guys okay? Like, what's going on?"
Right.
Because one, I truly care about them. You know, I'm like, hey, like, are you good? You know, because, you know, military, we kind of take care of each other. So I reach out. I'm like, hey, brother, I know you're out there. How's everything going? Is everybody safe? And they'll let you know, like, and I guess it's twofold, because I appreciate, one, I want to make sure they're okay, but two, it lets me know what's actually happening in that country.
Sure.
Because, you know.
And then you'll be deployed to countries like that to aid as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do humanitarian. And that's a big thing too. You know, we go in and we'll bring our, you know, military dentists. We'll bring, you know, just different types of medical professionals, and we'll do, we'll help them with their teeth. We'll do eye checks. We'll do, you know, and all of that to kind of like, it kind of brings that goodwill to the area. And some of these places, even their own country doesn't take care of them.
Yeah.
Because they're so poor.
Yeah. And uneducated.
So I know some people have, you know, their doubts in what we do, but I think
if they knew the whole picture, because I learned today that, you know, we are doing some amazing things in helping other countries. I just don't like the big superpowers, you know, going toe to toe and you know.
But here's the thing:
puffing their chests.
If you don't go toe to toe with them, I think you might be facing a problem down the road. If you let it go unchecked.
Yeah.
Now,
like for instance, the conflict that's right now in Iran, killing the general. It's not Iran that's complaining about us killing the general. It's the other political party complaining about us killing the general. And what, did we have proof and this and that and the other thing? And I'm sure we did. But again, it's into politics.
I don't doubt our abilities, and whoever made that call, I trust their judgment.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't just go killing generals. I mean, we killed Gaddafi and other people that we know are bad, you know?
You know, I'll say this, as military, I'm apolitical. I'm not either, you know, I try not to be.
Yeah, me too. I'm apolitical.
Yeah.
See, the thing about politics and religion, we don't know anything but what they tell us. And it's the big money that's controlling the media, controlling the governments, and controlling the banks that only want their message to be told.
I don't doubt that. I mean, why wouldn't you? And the hard part is like...
It all boils down to money.
Using the right lane, take right exit 3B onto Interstate 405 South.
But I really think we do a lot of good, you know. And,
well, thank you for doing it. Now, how long are you going to stay in the military? Are you going to be a lifer or what?
So I'm been in for 15 years.
Okay.
Active. So I got 5 years and change left until I retire.
And then what will you do, you think?
I'll go do the exact same thing, hopefully on the civilian side.
Okay.
Either the government civilian side or corporate.
Well, in 5 years, call me, and I'll sell you that tracker, solar tracker. That is an amazing device.
Yeah, I'll definitely. So that's one of the amazing things about my job is, I go out and purchase whatever we need to accomplish the mission.
Well, there's no question you need this for foreign operating bases because it's quiet,
right?
It's economical, and it's an energy source. And you tow it behind. You tow it behind. Where do you go to? Florida. Oh.
But I think so the way we kind of purchase things is we would bring in some expert as well to kind of ensure that what we're purchasing is can really
good job.
provide that advancement to our forces.
Right.
But the way technology is developing, we have a lot of smart people out there. The Army does everything. So
does everything.
We literally have jobs for so much. My little brother, he's a medic in the Army.
Okay.
And he works at the CDC right now.
Oh.
That's kind of like, so they're like, hey, we're going to send you over here and you're going to learn something over here.
Wow.
And so I think that's the amazing part. And I'm very, I consider myself very lucky to have the Army's treated me well, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I went to school, I got my degrees, I wouldn't have, I don't think I would have done all of that if I had just stayed, and not moved outside of where I was, kind of like a hometown.
Right.
I think getting out and seeing the world kind of gives you greater perspective.
Well, I'm going to play my song for you. How's that sound?
Yeah, let's hear this thing.
Okay. You might as well watch the visuals for yourself.
USA for you and for me. Brave soldiers, each of them has shown, oh yeah, how to pay the price for freedom we died. They fought hard throughout the year. Yes, they've lost their lives, and for them we've shed our tears.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
You like it?
Yeah.
So that's my little song to promote. Didn't go viral. Maybe one day it will.
You never know.
You know? But I wrote the lyrics and it came out pretty good. We all need to thank you. And again, it's all free for companies and the veterans. You know?
I don't know. I say this, you know, I'm just a patriot. I love this country, and I think what I've learned over the years of serving and kind of going to different places is you really realize how special this country is.
In a half mile, keep right onto Interstate 405 South using
yeah, it's pretty special.
It's, you know, some countries, you know, it's so poor, or the, you know, there's just so many different issues that they have, and you know, the freedoms that we have are just unlike it, and I wouldn't trade it, you know.
Well, the thing about happiness is doing what you love.
Yeah.
Looking forward to your day, sharing it with someone.
So what I love to do is I love to, and I'm kind of the business side of the Army, but I love to get the guys that need it, the equipment, and, you know, the supplies, the services, and that they need, and to accomplish what the mission.
There you go.
And that's what makes it great. You know, like, you know, when they come back and they're like, hey man, that was huge. Like, you know, you got it done for us, and we were able to, you know, make it happen. And
it reminds me of what you just said.
We even do construction, so I'll do like remodels of buildings. And when a building completely gets remodeled and you got troops getting ready to move into it, and they're like, wow, this is so nice, and you're like, it's that appreciation that, like,
right,
you know, we remodeled this, all those, you know, months of checking on contractors and making sure they're, you know, putting in the right fixtures and hanging the doors correctly and ensuring they're, you know, putting the right installation in the walls, all of that. And then you get to turn it over, and they get to move in, and you see how they're, you know, because you know, just want, like, you never know, like, the hard part is you never know who's going to come home and who's not.
Right.
And if we can make their life that much better while they're here.
That's some of the problem, because the government bureaucracy, and they have a lot of money to do this.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there's money to be gained from it as well.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
just the Veteran Center here in Westwood. It took years to build something, and extraordinarily cost.
Yeah.
And it's just the bureaucracy ties it all up, and
it does.
It's a shame.
It does. And you know,
solve that problem.
I mean, we try our best. And you know, there's a lot of programs in our country. You know, they try to promote veteran-owned businesses. We try to promote women-owned businesses.
Right.
We try to, you know, so we definitely try to work with smaller businesses to kind of help, you know, because if we just literally let anybody provide us a proposal for something,
right,
all the big businesses would just continue to win. So there's programs in America that we have to go, like laws that I have to abide by, my regulations when I procure what the Department of Defense needs. We have to go small business. We have to go, you know, we try to go women-owned. We try to go veteran-owned. Minority. Yeah, we try to do all of that. And there's laws that, you know, say you will do this. And it
check.
Yeah, and here's the thing
good.
Is, like, it kind of, it helps out. Yeah, it doesn't make everything perfect because nothing will be perfect.
Right.
But it does put, it's trying to make that difference.
Well,
and
I want to applaud you for what you're doing. I want to thank you for your time to interview with me.
No worries, man.
And I want you to be fantastic.
Hey, I'm trying. I will be fantastic. And,
we need more fantastic people in the world, and I think all the veterans are fantastic. That it's getting people to say it that increases the civility. in the world.
Absolutely, and you know, it's sad to hear, like, you know, we have so many veteran suicides
Every 20 minutes.
You know, and yeah, it's so hard to hear about, you know, guys that just couldn't handle you know, what they came back with. And
you know, they have these suicide hotlines, right, that help people?
absolutely, there's suicide hotlines, there's
Well, I'm starting a
helplines.
motivation hotline
Oh,
where people, for you know, a couple bucks a minute, can call in and either get some life coaching or some advice or some motivation or some inspiration. And I was just suggested by one of my board members that, because I get a lot of people calling me now that want more inspiration, right, from meeting me. And so it's actually not too much of that out there. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to launching that next.
and you know what, that would be so helpful. Like, I really think you should come, you know, talk to maybe if there's an installation near you, you know,
Yeah.
reach out and say, hey, I'd like to do a little
I would love
motivational
to.
speech.
I'm always offering
for the
myself to
church.
schools and
Yeah.
organizations and companies. I've got great speeches, you know,
'Cause
for all levels.
Yeah, one thing I think is very important is we get different perspectives.
Right.
You know, so what you might tell a group of people, it might only touch, you know, 20% or 10% of the total crowd, but you touch those people and kind of made them adjust their thinking, and they'll be better for it.
Yeah, well, what I really enjoy now is driving Uber in the morning and meeting someone new like yourself.
Yeah.
And because one-on-one, I'm very, very effective. I mean, I hopefully changed your life today.
No, I think you did, and you know, I never knew about SOS, but
Now you do.
I'm glad I do now, and you know, well, you know, I'll try to get the word out to, you know, my network of folks, and you know, we're so close knit. You know, we're this big family, you know, and we take care of our brothers and sisters, and we make sure everybody, you know, I truly want everyone I work with to do better.
Yes.
And
Well, and then in that vein, I have 130 as of today ambassadors of positivity. These are people that believe in the movement, that want to see it grow, and they're going to spread it to their world. And to thank them for that, and they're not doing it for thanks. They're doing it when you do something for goodness sake. It's really great, right?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm doing is we're creating a page called Meet Our Ambassadors, and it's because if they're helping me make the world a better place, then I want to help them personally with their product, passion, or company exposure. So we list whatever links they want, maybe their social media or their company, on that page. So we can help them with exposure.
That's
So
awesome.
when everyone wins, that's what I loved about SOS. Everybody won. The veteran, the community, and the country,
Yeah.
and the retailer. Everybody wins with SOS. It's a win-win-win-win situation.
You know, and you create that. You're promoting that happiness. You're promoting the positivity. And it perpetuates.
Yeah. It's
And I just hope that, you know, So my wife she's Buddhist,
okay.
and you know, they're very into like the karma and
Yeah, I'm told I have a lot of Buddha in me.
Yeah, and so I truly, like, I'm not particularly, I don't believe that completely, but I also believe that there is good to that.
Yes.
And,
That's why I don't
you know,
believe in religions, because there's too many of them. But Buddhism is a religion, but it's a thought.
I don't think you should try to fit yourself into like a specific mold. You know,
Right.
like
I agree.
I think you got to find out what works for you.
Right.
But I also it's not for me to condemn anybody for what they believe or what they see, and the way she thinks is like, I don't want to create hurt in the world.
Right.
And so I'm trying to learn from, you know, her as well.
Well, I'm going to give you each one of my personal cards. Okay. That you can
awesome.
keep on your person, and
I appreciate
and
that,
that's connections. But here I'm going to give you some giveaway cards. These are pay it forward cards that you would give to someone to introduce them to the movement.
Yeah, I'll drop them on the desk, you know, out front, and see if, you know, say, hey, you know, somebody might pick it up.
And I'd be more than happy to go and do a speech to any gatherings.
I'm telling you, like, we appreciate it, and so the military's kind of pushing more of a, not to just be physically, but also mentally strong.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we do endure a lot of
Positive
hardship,
thinking.
and the more resilient we are, the better we are able to accomplish whatever task
I will guarantee you, Vince. I mean, Mr. X. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
We didn't reveal anything anyway. But that if you start listening to my podcast and watch some of the videos, there's some really incredible, like telomeres. Most people don't know about their telomeres in their body.
Yeah.
The guys won the Nobel Prize for that. Secret to Aging. So there's lots of good stuff that comes out of my interviews, podcast. But it's just about sharing. Knowledge is power. The more knowledge you have, the easier life is. And my good friend John Paul DeJoria said, success unshared is failure.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to adopt that as well in my policies.
Absolutely.
Because I want to share with the children. See, I got lucky by being orphaned at 11 and ran away from home at 17. I saw the world. Mm-hmm. And most people don't get to see the world I saw. And so I learned a lot. And most people don't get life till they're halfway through.
Well, through struggle creates learning. It creates, you develop skills. Like, and I think you should. So I try to get out of my comfort zone, and I think you have to try to take on more. Your mind is a muscle that needs to be exercised, and I mean, I'm not perfect by any means, but I try. I put the effort in.
Yeah.
And
I tell people, the young people especially, your telephone, your cell phone is the Library of Congress and more. And you should be asking it questions 10 times a day, if not more.
Yeah. Curiosity.
You have to have curiosity.
You have to have.
You have to have curiosity. I'm curious. That's why my interviews are pretty good, because I'm curious about everything. About you, about what you've done, about your wife, about Buddhism, about everything, how it takes, and the government takes, how the military takes, how aliens take. I'm just curious all day long about this stuff, and that's why I feel it's I found my calling.
That's
Mark Twain once said, the two best days in a person's life are the day they were born and the day they discover why.
Yeah.
So I discovered my why after 98 different professions. I showed you my last one, right? That was me last month.
That's awesome, man.
Santa Claus.
Claus.
That was very rewarding.
That's cool.
Children who believe in Santa look at you as God.
Yeah.
And it's to bring the joy that I brought in December. And I did a bunch of videos, by the way, on YouTube. It was extremely rewarding.
It is, and so that's another thing that military, we all are kind of encouraged to volunteer as well in the communities that we, so I might not be from your community,
right,
but I'll still volunteer, and I've done Habitat for Humanity and building homes, and it's, you got to give back.
Yeah.
And
success unshared and failure.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah, totally. I tell my guys, hey, you're doing good. Your guys are suffering. What are you not teaching them?
Right.
You can't be the only one that's good. You have to, share your knowledge, share, what you've learned, and make, create an environment of learning, of positivity.
And a lot of times you can be told the same thing a dozen times, and it's only when you grow as a person where that might make sense again, or for the first time.
And I've learned a lot over these years, and I know I talk like I'm, older. I'm not even 40 yet, but I'm getting there. But I have so much more to learn.
Well, you've got 38 years under your belt of saying the word good. It's not going to be easy to get rid of it,
yeah.
But that's going to make you live longer, and it's going to make the world a more civil place. Again, our movement is about pollinating positivity and cultivating civility. And if the government's not going to make it happen, and the companies aren't going to make it happen, it has to come from you and me and your wife and your friends, and it has to come from people.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, I was telling my friend the other day, I was like, I think good people they start to attract to each other.
Yes.
Because
100%.
So we had our wedding in Thailand, and one of my buddies is like, hey, I want to come too, and I'm like, absolutely, man. We'll get all the reservations together. We'll get it all set up. You guys can come out, and they all came out, and everybody was just good people. Like, they all immediately never had met before, but they all got along.
They also say if you walk through a crowd smiling, it'll create the energy.
Yeah.
And I've had 600 people once say all at once, I am fantastic. You can't imagine the energy that put out.
Oh,
that was amazing. And I've got 13 teachers now that before class have the students say, "I am fantastic," in unison. And builds their confidence, their self-esteem. And it's a great energy starter to the day.
Kids are so important. So important. So
we need to get the military on the fantastic movement.
You know, so crazy thing, I'll tell you, I just found out last night my wife's pregnant with our first child.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, I'm like, so I didn't know. She'd been kind of like waiting to tell me, and I'm like, hey, you've been like really tired lately, you know, you're like, are you okay? Like, you know, and she's just like, oh, I'm just tired. And she's a trooper, you know, she manages her team. She, you know, she's always answering her phone because of like what industry she works in. And I'm like, wow, you're just like more tired lately. You know, you've been, and then she you know, threw up the other day, and I'm like, and then we you know, we've been hanging out, and she's like not drinking, you know, she usually have like one glass or something little, but
she stopped drinking.
Yeah, and I'm like,
good girl.
Hey, is there something you're not telling me, you know? And she started to kind of like tear up, and she's like, I wanted to surprise you, you know. And I'm like, and I you know, I'm losing it because I'm just, you know, so elated. But
wait till your first comes out.
Oh,
it's
man,
the most amazing experience in your life. By the way, really important that she probably already knows this, that now that she's pregnant and with another life inside her, she should not have a negative thought come through her brain. She has to know it's going to come out well. It's going to fantastic. It's going to be healthy. All those positive thoughts.
So she is
very, very important.
She is very good about that, I will say. She is pretty amazing when it comes to,
because it's such a natural thing, and people, because they're having the baby for the first time, start to worry about shit. You can't let that creep into your head.
She has this like peace inside of her.
100 billion people have had babies in this planet. Have lived on this planet. So, you know, I don't know how many were women, but it's a totally natural occurrence. Happens in taxis. We had both our boys at home, which was incredible. I really recommend having it at home. It's better for the baby.
Bless your wife.
Yeah.
I'm sure she was like, give me the shot.
No, none of that.
Yeah.
But so I have. I'm a great grandfather, so I've got a little bit of advice for parents. You know, parenting.
And we learned so much from, you know, I'm so lucky to have the friends I have because I learned so much from them.
Yeah.
You know, I just been.
Well, that's good that you're open to learning. A lot of people just have their blinders on and they're just closed off.
That is one thing I've tried to force myself, is to be open to other people's opinions.
Right.
And you know, digest it and yeah, there's going to be opinions out there that you don't agree with, but it doesn't mean you can't listen.
Right.
You know, and
wise man listens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Mr. X, we're coming to the end of our journey together.
Yeah.
We just recorded a 42-minute conversation.
That's awesome, man.
Did I tell you it would be fun?
Yeah, I had a great time. I really appreciate you having me on your podcast, and I wish you all the best.
And just be fantastic. That's all I ask. And if it moves you, consider becoming an ambassador. It's free. It's just, we need hundreds of thousands, if not millions of ambassadors, because there's a lot of people on the planet that need to hear the message. Everybody, thanks for listening. Have a fantastic day. What is it, January 21st of this month at 2 p.m. is my radio show. I've got a fantastic guest, Jennifer Hill. She's going to be doing the trifecta. She's first interviewed with me on YouTube. She's gonna. We have a podcast coming up, and then the radio show. I call that the trifecta, when I really meet incredible people and share their ideas and thoughts and philosophies and motivation with you. Everybody, be fantastic. Thank you, Mr. X. Everybody, bye-bye.